To infinity and beyond. Elegant words of wisdom by a personal childhood hero of mine, Buzz Lightyear. Who would have thought all that time spent daydreaming, chasing imaginary aliens could have really paid off? Now, the concept of inhabiting settlements off-world is no longer a dream, a far-fetched idea confined only to the realms of science fiction, but a reality that we are tantalizingly close to. Now, before I begin to outline all the ways in which we plan on becoming a multiplanetary species, I think it's important we take a step back and ask ourselves, why go to space in the first place? Who cares if a spacecraft has crossed yet another human-defined boundary, or if we've taken pictures of yet another pretty-looking galaxy? Do you honestly expect me to believe that these two images are black holes and the one on the right is somehow drastically better resolved than the one on the left? Surely, our resources are better spent here on Earth, solving Earth's problems, right? Wow, this is a profound question with so many answers. Here are just a few of the many compelling reasons why this transition on becoming a multi-planetary species is an inevitable one which we expect to see by 2050. Firstly, let's consider history. Several countless breakthrough technologies have come about as a direct result into spaceflight research. Satellites. They have not only revolutionized, but they have built our communication networks from the ground up, drastically improving communication response timings and have proven invaluable in disasters, notably Starlink in Ukraine. Furthermore, NASA engineers, pressured by the sheer scarcity of water aboard the International Space Station, have developed water filtration systems that have essentially allowed astronauts to drink their own urine. And while it may not sound like humanity's greatest achievement, this same technology has been implemented in impoverished areas, allowing them to access water resources they otherwise wouldn't have been able to, and in the process, saving countless lives. The list of space-driven advancements goes on with cordless tools, air purifiers, scratch-resistant lenses, and smoke detectors. But aside from just technological benefits, space also holds a commercial interest, with a lot of big names investing heavily in the space sector, all betting on primarily one thing: rare earth metals. Rare earth metals like gold, silver, and platinum power almost all of our technology, from computer chips to our smartphones to even the transistors in your televisions. However, these scarce resources are currently running out. Gold is expected to run out by 2030, and silver not long after. Moreover, these resources are often extracted in third world countries in unsustainable processes that severely degrade the environment and often violate human labor laws. According to one survey by the UN, extraction of raw materials alone contributed to 50% of our total greenhouse gas emissions. However, in space, conditions are completely different. There are vast seas of these asteroids containing the very metallic composition we require for building a technological empire, waiting there to be captured. The photograph you see behind me is of 16 Psyche, an asteroid with an estimated worth of a staggering $10 quintillion, more than 1 million times the entire GDP of the entire globe. In other words, to put it simply, investing our resources to going out to space could very well help us solve some of the problems here on Earth. Alright, we've established we want to go to space, and it seems only logical to deduce that our prime target for colonization is our nearest neighbor that does not have an acid for an atmosphere. In other words, Mars. However, Mars too presents formidable challenges that we must first overcome before being able to realize our multi-planetary dream. First of all, astronauts going to Mars will have to undergo an enduring 7-month-long journey in which they will be sharing constrained physical spaces and likely be stretched to their psychological limits. Additionally, they will be in microgravity throughout the duration of their journey, and in a decreased gravity state, only 38% of Earth's on Mars. This is likely to cause muscular atrophy and other unforeseen medical effects. Moreover, Mars does not have the same protective atmosphere Earth does. This means colonists will be bombarded by oncoming stellar radiation, which is likely to cause cancer risk and radiation poisoning risk to increase severely. If that is not all, astronauts will also have to deal with the decreased sunlight. Because Mars is further out in the solar system, all solar-dependent processes like photovoltaics and photosynthesis will be significantly dampened. Another essential element that we all require to breathe is oxygen. It's not only crucial for our life support systems, but for fuel combustion as well. However, the Martian atmosphere is primarily made out of carbon dioxide. Therefore, we must need to intuit some way of manufacturing oxygen on Mars or directly transferring it from Earth. And if that wasn't enough, there is another uniquely Martian phenomena that presents a threat to us: global dust storms. These are clouds of electrostatic particulates that can hang suspended for extended periods of time. If you think sand gets everywhere, think again, except this time the sand is electrostatic and clings to whichever surface it binds to. This runs the potential risk of covering our greenhouses, disrupting our power lines, and worst of all, destroying our solar panels. It is these very dust storms that are to blame for the death of our beloved Curiosity rover. Okay, all of these challenges make Mars sound a lot less appealing than it did a few minutes ago. However, while astronauts may lack almost all of the resources they require for survival, from sunlight to water to food to shelter from radiation and even oxygen, one thing they do not lack is ingenuity. And of course, Buzz Lightyear quotes, but primarily ingenuity. Therefore, companies have broken down this large problem of becoming a multi-planetary species into smaller, addressable issues and have begun work. They've made significant progress on some aspects of realizing a multi-planetary dream. To address the problem of transportation, we have the famous company SpaceX, run by South African-born entrepreneur Elon Musk. SpaceX has devised a two-component system made out of the Super Heavy rocket as well as the Starship spacecraft itself. The journey to Mars will begin on Earth, powered by the Super Heavy rocket's immense capabilities. And then there will be a unique step, which is in inter-orbit refueling stage, where a tanker designed to carry 100 tons of fuel will ensure the Starship spacecraft is well fueled for its journey to Mars. As the Starship approaches the Martian atmosphere, it will be entering it at an incredible speed of 7.5 kilometers per second. However, not to worry, as the heat shields have been made to withstand these high temperatures and several atmospheric re-entries without burning up, preventing damage to the spacecraft. The genius of this entire process is its reusability. Its reusability allows costs to be dramatically lower, allowing us to look forward to an accessible and feasible future of space travel. While getting there is one problem, staying there is another challenge in on itself. Currently being looked at by a New York-based architecture firm, AI Space Factory. Their design, Marsha, is based entirely out of Martian regolith, Martian basalt fiber, and renewable bioplastics, which means it can be 3D printed on the surface of Mars. In preliminary tests by NASA, this material has been proven to be stronger than concrete. Furthermore, the dome-like accommodation provides a strong structural advantage against the dust storms that we saw earlier. Also, the design allows for a large water-filled skylight and intermittent windows which will allow natural light to pass through while still protecting the crew from oncoming stellar and cosmic radiation. Our next obstacle is oxygen, something that has seen huge developments in the recent years. Firstly, MOXIE, an instrument aboard the Perseverance rover, has proven for the first time that oxygen can be manufactured on the Martian atmosphere through the electrolysis of carbon dioxide. Another thing is that a new study proposed using magnesium perchlorate as a catalyst for this process, which could optimize it by an astounding 25 times. This holds game-changing implications for the feasibility of the manufacture of oxygen as a long-term survival process on Mars, potentially even terraforming it in the future. Together, these advancements offer a glimmer of hope that we may one day realize our multi-planetary dream. And they bring my personal childhood dream of becoming a space ranger and fighting Zergs on a distant moon, a small step closer to reality. Allow me to leave you with this final concluding thought. In the words of our great physicist, Dr. Stephen Hawking, the universe is a violent place. Cosmological accidents like gamma ray bursts, supernovae explosions, and asteroid impacts happen all the time, and when they do, they wipe out entire civilizations. However, I believe that we are more than just an advanced breed of monkeys on a minor planet of a very average star. We are aware that we exist, and that is extraordinary. And we are aware that we exist, and that in itself is extraordinary. Therefore, the moral obligation to preserve and continue this awareness of existence, to preserve and spread life throughout the universe, calls upon us to realize humanity's true potential and proceed in the only direction left for us, space world.